Hello and welcome to the Doofcast, a film and TV podcast from Doof Media. I am your host, Scott Daly, and joining me, as always, it's the Emperor of Andromeda himself. I cooked him a plate of spaghetti and meatballs. I'm sure he's going to love it. It's Matt Freeman. How's it going, Matt?
I'm doing fantastic today. Thank you. I'd like to open up a dialogue today with you. I'd like to hear your thoughts and what you have to say, and I'd like us to both understand where the other is coming from.
No. Damn your corpo speak. This week on the show, we are continuing our series catching up on the Best Picture nominees before the 2026 Academy Awards. This week, it's Yorgos Lanthimos' Bugonia, which will be our fifth film that we've covered on the show. Matt, this is one of those ones that, like, there's certain movies that I'm like, yeah, I have some things to say about them. And there's certain movies where I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I can't wait for this conversation. And this was one of those movies for me.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk about this with you. I enjoyed this one a lot. I can't help but feel like this is just not going to win Best Picture, but that's fine. That doesn't really matter.
Yeah, definitely not. So yeah, we're going to talk all about Bugonia. It will be a full spoilers discussion. And this does feel like not every movie we talk about on the show are a movie where I would be like, you must be super worried about spoilers. Like last week we talked about Train Dreams. I think Train Dreams is an experience of a movie. If you were spoiled on every bit of that plot, I think you would still enjoy that movie. This one, if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back and listen.
Yeah. I agree with that. I am glad that I wasn't spoiled. I was like a hair's breadth away from being spoiled. I was watching Red Letter Media discuss movies, and then they like Jay started a sentence where he was going to spoil it, and I paused it, and I was glad that I did. I went back and I watched that review after I watched the movie. I'm glad that I paused it. But
well done. And then after our Bugonia conversation, we are going to be talking about the first two episodes of HBO's newest Game of Thrones spinoff, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Matt has seen those episodes now, and we're going to chat about it a little bit.
All right. But
before that, we will talk all about Yorgos Lanthimos' Bugonia. Matt, what is this movie all about?
Two conspiracy-obsessed young men kidnap the high-powered CEO of a major company, convinced that she is an alien intent on destroying planet Earth.
This movie was written by Will Tracy. It is based on the 2003 South Korean film Save the Green Planet by Jang Joon-won. It is directed, of course, by Yorgos Lanthimos and stars Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, with a first-time actor, Aidan Delbus, who played the Don character. This is a man who had never acted before. Yorgos Lanthimos wanted someone who was actually neurodivergent. He's not just playing that in the film. He wanted a neurodivergent actor, like first-time actor for the role. They found this kid, and not to jump into the conversation, but I thought he did a phenomenal job.
Oh, yeah. Everybody was super solid, but yeah, he did great. Yeah.
So you said you enjoyed this movie, Matt. Talk to me a little bit. What was your experience of watching Bugonia?
I basically knew the premise from the trailer. They're not too cagey about it.
Sure.
And I just, the thing about Yorgos Lanthimos is that he's just on my wavelength. With the only exception being I can't watch his movies like often because they're borderline psychoactive. They're so potent. Like The Lobster is an absurd movie, but it's so upsetting. Like you walk away from that movie feeling sick, feeling bad about being a human, and that's very often the way you walk away from Yorgos movies. But this one, I actually mostly just had fun because there's a fun cat and mouse kind of thing. It's keeping you on your toes. It's playing with your expectations, kind of back and forth in a way that's fun. I found myself kind of changing my mind about what I wanted to be happening like halfway through the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
And then maybe changing it back later, which I think like it really engaged me. I really enjoyed it. I mean, objectively, it's just as misanthropic as any other Yorgos movie, but I didn't feel sick after I finished this one. So
that's really funny to me because I agree with you 100%. Like looking at the filmography of Yorgos Lanthimos, it's almost as if he is like inspecting all of the different ways in which humanity is terrible.
Uh-huh.
and this is a movie, the spoilers are coming fast and heavy here, folks. This is a movie where he almost finishes that. I think I saw somewhere else someone wrote something to the effect of like, Yorgos Lanthimos is putting humanity on trial in all his movies, and in Bugonia, he has reached a verdict. And I thought that was such an apt description because, yeah, this movie ends with mankind being wiped out. It was funny. I was listening to another review of this, one of those like, what does the ending mean video? Because I was just curious, not because I wanted someone to tell me, but I was curious what people thought. And one of the videos was like, you might see this as like a dour ending because all of humanity is killed, but what I actually think this means is that we're going to have to take some drastic actions to change and improve things.
Uh-huh.
I was like, that's not really the vibe I got from the ending of this movie at all, actually.
We're going to have to take some drastic actions, Scott. Now, you can take a break from taking those drastic actions at 5:30 if you need to. But
yeah.
No, I'm so sorry. That just struck me as sort of a corporate way of
Yeah, no,
but
exactly. Yeah.
At some point in this conversation, we're going to talk about what this movie is saying.
Yes.
And there's like, I think for most of the movie, I thought it was pretty evident. And then the way the movie ends, I found that I wasn't sure anymore. So,
I mean, let's just get right into it. I think the most salient thing to talk about here is the ending of the movie, right? And I think that Red Letter Media review you're referencing put it pretty perfectly, which is like, in a movie like this, she either is actually an alien or is not actually an alien. There's only one of two ways that this movie can end.
Yeah.
and the end of the movie, of course, is the reveal that he was right. She is an alien. Now it is absolutely true that Teddy, Jesse Plemons' character, was like wrong about most things about what the aliens were doing here, but she is really an alien. He got the ship design correct, actually. He got a lot of stuff right, except for kind of their motivation for being here and stuff like that. So that is an interesting twist on it because like there's a version of this movie where you're just like, it's kind of simply ripping apart both like corporate America culture and conspiracy theorist nutjobbery, right? And it's just like simply like these two sides are insane and are destroying everything in between them. And then the ending comes around, and I'm not saying that that's not what the movie is saying, right? But I do think the ending is a wrinkle on it that I was not expecting. Ultimately, it's like I did, like you, I think I thought I had a pretty good handle on what the movie was doing and what it was saying. And then, yeah, that reveal kind of makes you sit back and go, okay, huh.
Yeah, well, not just the ending too, because this is what I kind of mean about going back and forth at certain points. There's a couple of speeches, or not speeches per se, but bits of dialogue in the movie where Jesse Plemons is talking, and he's Jesse Plemons. He's a handsome, charismatic man. He's not playing these scenes as this guy is shaking and stammering and doesn't know what he's saying. He's speaking very clearly, and he is saying things that actually make sense. I'm not talking about the world is run by aliens. I'm talking about like you people, the corporate power structure, are feeding us poison and calling it medicine. Mm-hmm. And you literally experimented on my mom and put her in a coma, and you're killing the bees, and you're killing all of us, and you're making a profit off of it. He gives a very impassioned, like it's. I think that's what one of the things that's fun about it is. It's a speech that swerves between being the kind of thing that you hear people say all the time, and you're like nodding along. And then it's like, and that's because of the Andromedans. And it's interesting because it's playing this trick on your brain where you're just like, I don't know. I mean, he's making a lot of sense, but then he just has this delusion wrapped into it. He has a disordered mind, but it's not that he doesn't have a point.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with conspiracy theorists is they look at the real problems that our world is facing, and then they prescribe some specific nefarious intent behind it, right? Like, I think that's ultimately the thing with this movie in particular, is this idea that everything he says is true. Like, like colony collapse disorder is a thing, although I think it is accurate what Emma Stone's character says about that. Like, that has pretty vastly slowed down. The bees are still dying, but then not because of that specific mysterious problem as much. But yeah, talking about pharmaceutical companies, talking about corporate culture, like the movie is definitely showing all these things. But the Teddy character, there has to be some sort of greater nefarious plot behind all of it. It can't just be the mundanity of, hey, sometimes people are greedy assholes. and sometimes they just do stuff because they want money or power or what have you. And sometimes like I think the colony collapse disorder thing is really interesting because we still don't know really what's causing that. And what we think is causing it is a combination of like dozens of different factors all happening at the same time, right? Nothing in the real world is ever as quite as simple as just some evil entity is like intentionally doing this because they're evil. But that, like, conspiracy theorists and Teddy, that's what he wants to believe because that's simple, that's actionable. It gives him purpose, it gives him drive, and it's like this is a thing that is happening in the world, that people are being pushed to this kind of stuff because they want to make sense of chaos and fear and all this stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. So, but she,
yeah. No, go.
She's bad too. Like that's
yes, she is.
So, yeah. And that, I mean, look, I feel like I have a hard time saying anything that sounds smart here because it's like I literally just said, but she's bad too, which is the level of literary criticism that I always dreamed I could aspire to when I was a young man. But like that's the level on which I'm struggling with the movie because it's not like you can't. And I don't think you're saying this, but yes, you can't say like, yeah, the movie is taking a real solid swipe at conspiracy theorists when number one, the conspiracy theorist is basically right.
That's the part that's so interesting to me because that is what I mean when I said I was convinced that one of the targets of this movie is the ways in which conspiracy theorists, I mean, we see this guy, he's like obsessively listening to podcasts. He's gone through these absolutely horrible events in his life and has been radicalized by this stuff. Yeah. But then it's right.
Yeah. Well, it's right. And like, remember the beginning of the movie where we're seeing her and, you know, we're seeing her morning routine and we're seeing her interact with her subordinates. And she is just like the stereotype of the cold-blooded reptile CEO who is basically a functional sociopath.
Yeah, I mean the 5:30 thing is like that you joked about is the perfect example of this. It's like we want to be perceived as being a company that values personal time, but also no.
Yeah. And, you know, giving the recorded speech about diversity and then complaining about it and just
too many diversities,
like just basically being fake and calculated in everything she does. And then when she is captured, like that's kind of the fun of her. You know, if you strip away all the confusing stuff that we're talking about, actually, and you just look at it as like this sort of psychological cat and mouse game where this woman, she's not a great person, but she's not literally Satan. So the idea of her being terrified at the hands of this captor is very dramatic. And that's where, like, this is where the the movie really thrives for me. This is the best aspect of it is you see Jesse Plemons as human and sympathetic, and maybe he's delusional, but he's delusional in a way that makes you feel bad for him for having those delusions.
Yeah, I mean, his mother was an opiate addict who was given a drug that brought her into a coma, right? She was clearly mentally unwell as well. His father ran out on him. His babysitter, I don't think they ever said this specifically, but the implication is he abused him. Right?
Yeah, it seemed pretty clear that he molested him and felt horrible about it. But it's just like, this guy has been through the ringer.
Yeah.
So you feel for him, but at the same time, you're like, that doesn't make him right. And then, in her case, she doesn't do anything like truly evil. She's just like a mildly unlikable person when we're introduced to her. And then, she's obviously terrified and she's trying to talk her way out of it in ways.
Terrible corporate speak, like literally office corporation nonsense speak.
Yeah.
Can we have a dialogue about this?
Yeah. Can we have a dialogue? Yeah. And she's trying to be persuasive in the ways that she knows how. And as she gets more desperate, she starts saying that she's an alien and starts playing along with the delusion, sort of thinking maybe she'll be able to sort of outflank him by going with his delusion and then sort of taking control of this situation by sharing the delusion. Like that's a fun, dramatic concept.
Yeah.
And then there's a certain point in the movie, which I can't even remember when, because I think it's not a point. I think it's a period of the movie where I was like, I really kind of want her to turn out to be an alien. Like that, like, wouldn't that be kind of more fun? I wonder almost if it's like the movie is shoving our face in the depressing reality of this guy's existence so intensely that we're just like we're
you
seeking
want him to win, right?
Yeah. Like it would be a relief to us if this were actually not real, Like actually he's right. Yeah. Let him win. And then when it's fun because even when they're going to the headquarters at the end, you're not sure, but like the way her behavior has changed, you're like, oh, she is an alien. She found the bodies and now she's behaving totally differently. But also you're not 100% sure, right? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, it's just like she gives this whole speech that I think essentially turns out to be just true, right?
Yeah.
That they seeded this planet, and people are corrupt, and the experiments they've been trying to fix humanity. She gives this whole speech, and like at the back of your head, you're like, oh, she's 100% an alien then now. Okay. But then she leads him back to the corporate headquarters, and like when she's doing like the 55-digit code on the calculator, you're just like, oh, she's just stalling for time. Now that's what's happening. She's just stalling for time. And so in that moment, I completely flip back to, okay, no, she's not an alien. That she's just placating him to try to get out of this. And then of course we flip that again. It is a lot of fun in that way, and the movie has a lot of fun with that. I really like what you're saying about him, because there is, I mean, obviously the moment where she discovers the bodies, the tone of what he's doing changes pretty dramatically. And it's like, it's not that there wasn't threatening moments to the tone before, but there's like, this is a dark comedy movie, right? So there's a lot of silliness to this movie. When he first captures her, even though he's just kidnapped a woman and is threatening her, like it's very goofy and silly, because he's a conspiracy theorist. He's kind of goofy and silly. And just like, but there's this weird undertone of tension and danger there, and he'll have like uncontrolled anger outbursts that go every so often. But I don't think it's until you see like that his basement is literally filled with bodies of multiple people he's done this to before, you realize just like the bottom of his depravity and his and how violent and monstrous he actually is, or the world has turned him into, essentially.
Yeah. There's also the fact that like the level of confidence that he has in this alien invasion is based on very little. So the fact that he's right is just kind of a coincidence.
Well, yeah, and he's right in some of the ways, but wrong in the most important way, right? Which is that he said all of the problems in our planet is because of the Andromedans.
Uh-huh.
That is why. It's why the bees are dying. It's why people are mean to each other. It's why my mother is in a coma. It's why this guy molested me. It's like all of my problems are because of this alien presence, and all I have to do to fix my life and to make the planet better again is just make them leave. And then everything will be fixed. He says that to Dawn. He says that to the woman that he works with at the I forget the name of the company, but let's call it Amazon because it's essentially Amazon. He says that to her. He's like, "Don't worry, like even though you're not going to get your OSHA money, it's like everything's going to be fixed. I'm going to fix it all." And it's just like depressingly naive about like how difficult it actually is to solve all of the world's problems. Actually,
yeah, yeah, right. I mean, it's almost like So he wanted to go talk to the Andromedans and try to like negotiate on behalf of humanity to try to save humanity, which is a noble. Like this is one of the things you like about him is like, despite the delusions, he's actually very strategic and smart.
But the question is like, how much of that was bullshit? Because I think that his secret underlying motivation is that this woman put his mother in a coma and he hates her, right? It's like he gets really angry and defensive anytime anyone tries to say that this is a personal vendetta for him, that is, you are not doing this for the sake of the species. You are doing this for yourself, for your needs, for what you want.
Yeah, right. There are elements of this that don't quite make sense, I think, if you start like unspooling it, but at least while you're watching the movie, I don't think it bothers you that much. But I mean, basically, you're right. What she says about bees in their dialogue, I pulled up the script, or I pulled up the transcript at least. Is she says they're a complex society, work ethic. They do their duty. They build their worlds without complaint or piety or self-obsession. And then she says, "I just admire their resolve. That's all, even in the face of peril." And it's like, wow, if only these two people could cooperate, because they seem to want the same thing for humanity, but his willingness to be violent and to turn this into a kidnapping situation has made that impossible. And now he's dead, and she, I mean, it's subtext, but I think it's like this horrible experience has made her decide that humanity is a lost cause.
Yeah. Okay, but and I still do think Yorgos Lanthimos hates humans. I think I think he thinks humanity kind of sucks. And yeah, his examinations and I still do love that quote about we've been found guilty. There is a version of this that I think one of the things the movie is trying to say is that if we take the alien stuff out of it, if the aliens are just a metaphor for I'm going to use phrases that are overused, but the corporate elite. Right. If they are just a metaphor for this ruling class of very rich, very powerful people that make all the decisions for us, then this idea that this ruling class looks down on us from above and gets to decide for us whether we are worthy of survival or not, whether we get to live on, whether it is kind of the idea of a beekeeper and his bees, right? Like getting to decide what the hive does, taking from the hive what they need, and then questioning why the hive is dying off or stuff like this. There is a moment of like, I did feel a moment of when she walks up to the flat earth, which again is really funny because it also means the flat earth conspiracies were true too.
Great.
Or that was just a visual representation. I don't know, whatever. And she pops the bubble and every human being dies. There was a part of me that my initial reaction was like, how dare you? Like, yeah, we suck. Sure. But there's a lot of there's beautiful things that people do as well. Like humanity is a complex tapestry of cruelty, but also kindness and love. And it's like, who are you to decide unilaterally whether we get to live or not?
Yes, thank you for saying this, because this is one of those tendrils of story that was flitting through my head that I sort of lost as we were going along. But you're absolutely correct, especially during that ending sequence where we're seeing all the dead people, and so many of them are just like children at the dinosaur museum, or like a group at a bridal shower, and you're just like, this is what did they do? They didn't do anything. They're not destroying the planet. They're just hanging out. You don't have the right to do this. You're not God. What is your authority to decide that humans are bad for the planet and wipe us out, when, by the way, you're the ones who wiped out the dinosaurs accidentally?
Yeah, why didn't anyone wipe you out? You committed mass death.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds you of hearing, like, we did something to the bees and now we have to just like kill any colony that starts to demonstrate the Africanized attacking bee population qualities. And it's like, well, that's I mean, they're animals and we treat animals horribly, so we just take it in stride. But it's like, yeah, if somebody treated like us, treated us like that, rather, that would just be evil, obviously. And I mean, in a sense, it's a funny remark on our own hypocrisy and how we treat animals. But that's
sure.
That's just part of it. I agree though. Like the movie ending with her sort of like casting her as above it all and deciding to wipe us out. I think you're right that it's like, yeah, this makes she has as much, moral authority as the CEO deciding to be like, oh, we're not making enough profit in that sector, so lay everyone off. Or it's just like, who died and made you God?
Yeah. I mean, and that's, I think, what the central metaphor is that we have these people that are in, whether it's via their elected power or just financial power, like, get to make these broad sweeping decisions for people. And that's ridiculous. And I think the movie is pointing out that's ridiculous. And these are the type of people. She is this kind of perfect caricature of like tech CEO nonsense. Like, you notice she's talking about how everyone needs to stay at 5:30, and she didn't stay.
Yeah.
She stayed till 5. She leaves when she gets there whenever she wants. She leaves whenever she wants. And yeah, I mean, she's got a 9:00 meeting that night, but she gets to take that from home.
Yeah.
Does she offer that kind of flexibility to any of her employees? Certainly not. It's absurd, and it's hypocritical. And that moment where she has just given a drug to Jesse Plemons' mom that has put her in a coma, and is just like, this is like, it's all the corporate lingo of this is not acceptable, right? Like we will cover the costs of her care. It's like, okay, great. What about he needed a mom? Like, and she even when she's trying to bullshit him later in the movie, she says all the things that probably should have been said at the time that they did this thing to people. Is that like, it's not just about the cost of her care now that she's in a coma for whoever, God knows how long. It's everything. Yeah. It's everything. And the callousness with which she manipulates him into putting antifreeze in his mother's IV line, which, yes, he did, right? Absolutely. And that is, I think, the movie is not letting the Jesse Plemons character off the hook. He has been radicalized into this monstrous person who does these monstrous things. But how callously, like, just to get what she wanted, she's going to charge up a man she knows is very susceptible to manipulation to go do this thing, and then just like callously says, I thought you would be stopped before you actually got to do it. It's like, come on. Really?
That's kind of a great microcosm of all of her decision making, is like, well, my intentions were correct. Yeah. And it's like, but like, that's the way everyone operates. That's like the humans and the way that you're judging the humans for destroying the earth and everything. Like, everyone on every level of this is acting from the position of, I know what I'm doing. Oh, it was a huge screw up. Well, I tried. I did my best. Everyone in the movie is like this because he murders innocent people, and is like she's like, how many of them were Andromedans? And he says 2. And is like, okay, how many bodies? There were more than 2 bodies. There were the remains of more than 2 bodies in there. And it's like, yeah, well, like everybody's actions have unintended consequences, and now she has used basically bad luck and the fact that nobody is actually as competent as they think they are to justify ending humanity.
Yeah.
I'm glad we talked this through, because I knew that I hadn't quite clinched it yet, but I feel like that's way closer to what it was going for. Is like, look, nobody on any side of this is unambiguously the good guy, but I think because it puts her in the position of being the hostage, the kidnapping victim for so much of the movie, you do get on her side.
Sure.
And it's good, I think, now that I've kind of sat back from it and just realized, like, she's not, I mean, even her speech when she says, "No, you're wrong. The Andromedans aren't trying to destroy humanity. We're trying to save humanity." It's like, okay, that's her. I believe that is her earnest opinion, but it's incredibly condescending. And
it's their definition of what saving is.
Yeah.
It's their definition of what's wrong with us.
Yes.
It's the same thing. It's like essentially the opioid epidemic is like, I think basically what we're told is like, you introduce the drug and then introduce the cure, and you make money on both sides, right? Yeah. And that is essentially what they're doing with humanity, right?
Yeah.
They made us in the context of the film. You made us, and it's your fault. All of this is your fault.
Yeah.
And then you try to cure us through all this testing, which we see just like the testing of like if we take the alien out of it, like it's all right there when she says like, your mother was picked because she was weak. She was weak and susceptible, and so that's why she was picked. And maybe that's why she was picked for this drug trial as well. They knew, maybe they didn't put as much precautions into the development of this drug because, we're only giving this to opioid addicts, right? Like it's fucked people anyway. So if it works, we fix them. And if it doesn't work,
I mean, it's sort of how we think about our like cattle. And it's like, if there's a sick cow, it's like, there's a threshold of like, okay, give them the antibiotics. And then if they're below that threshold, then it's like, get them out of the herd so they don't make the other animals sick.
Yeah.
And we're going to take them to a nice, comfortable farm across town.
Yeah. And I think, we've talked about our 2 main characters. I think the character that is caught in the middle of all this is poor Don, right? Mm-hmm. Don is basically innocent. He is kind of pulled into this conspiracy theory stuff by his cousin. He doesn't really buy it, and also he is neurodivergent in a way that I don't know if I want to make any statement on like more susceptible to this or not, but he definitely is like has no one else but his cousin, and is being kind of slowly pulled into this stuff by his cousin in a way that clearly he doesn't fully understand or feels like he can't do anything about it. And in this like tug of war between the conspiracy theorist nut job and the evil CEO is just a guy. And at the end of it, he's so distraught and destroyed by everything that he kills himself. And that's like people. Like, I think he is the closest thing to the audience surrogate in this story. And he can't, it drives him so crazy that he just kills himself.
Yeah. I love the subtle shading with him where we don't see much from him, but like every time he says something, it's showing us what's happening in his mind. And he acknowledges like, hey, I'm not comfortable with you sterilizing me, but then he lets him do it anyway, which is heartbreaking because he trusts him. Yeah. And then later he's like, hey, I've been feeling really sad after you gave me those shots. And Jesse Plemons is like, it's fine. You'll get over it. And by the end, he's like, I just don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be on this planet anymore. Like, I don't want to make this place better because this place is kind of ruined for me. I just want to be I just want to leave.
Yeah. In the midst of this moral conflict and an ethical argument between two sides, no one is paying attention to the person in front of them that actually is begging for help.
Mm-hmm.
I need help. I feel sad. I feel depressed. I feel like I don't want to be here anymore. I feel like there's nothing for me. And even when Emma Stone's character is telling him that he's wrong about that there is other stuff, it is just in an effort to win him over. She has no actual real concern for him as a human being.
Yeah. It's funny. Even as you said that, I was like, well, maybe if he had let her go and they had run off and she had kept her word and taken him to the spaceship and then she would have decided not to wipe out humanity because there was one guy left who was willing to help. And I'm just like, I think that's what I would have said if we had been talking about this, you know, if you had said that an hour ago instead of after the exchange that we just had. But now I'm just like, no, she's a corpo. Actually, that's her personality. And she sees humanity as a cattle herd that has been infected with mad cow disease. Regardless of whether there's one good cow in there, it doesn't change it.
Well, and she says that living here and being amongst us has infected her as well, has turned her into a version of herself, turned her into a cruel version of herself. She says all the words, but is she part of the group that is exterminated at the end? No, of course not. Of course not.
I thought that was a fantastic bit, just like little almost throwaway bit of dialogue that has so much buried in it, where it's like, oh, so now you get to disavow all of your own darkness by saying like, it's because of you rubbed off on me. It's like, no, this is your decision. This is not us. This is like, I mean, one way of looking at it is, okay, this is kind of galaxy brain perhaps, but like, you know, the bees would be fine without us screwing with them and trying to domesticate them and spraying pesticide everywhere. The bees would be fine.
Yeah.
Maybe the humans would be fine without the Andromedans trying to manage us and like fix our society for us. And like,
maybe we're having colony collapse disorder because of their meddling.
Yes. I don't know if the movie is saying this or not, but I really like this idea anyway.
I think so. I mean, I think the movie is about like, we haven't talked about like what the word Bugonia actually means, which is not something I knew until I watched this movie. It's not even something I knew until I watched this movie. It's something I knew after I watched this movie and then looked it up because I was like, why is this called Bugonia?
Yeah.
So just so everyone knows, Bugonia is an ancient Mediterranean Greek like mythological belief that bees could spontaneously generate from like the decaying corpse of an ox. It basically means ox birth in Greek. And so it is a movie and an idea of like how life has to be. The idea of spontaneous generation is this idea that life cannot exist and flourish on its own. It has to be managed. It has to be created. There has to be some sort of event that creates and orders and organizes and pushes life forward. And that's not how it works.
No.
Sorry, that's not how it works. And yeah, I don't know about you, Matt, but humanity does suck, sure. But I don't think we've ever killed 7.5 billion people in one go before.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Andromedas are the real killers.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. They also killed the dinosaurs.
Yeah, those bastards.
They really cannot be trusted.
We could be riding around on T-Rexes right now.
Exactly. I know. It's a shame. I'm really mad at the Andromedans now. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I don't think I felt this way when I ended the movie, but now that we had this conversation, I'm like way more mad because it's like not only did she wipe out humanity, but she did it with this air of like, it's so sad that I have to do this, but there's nothing for it. And it's like, you don't get to be sad about this.
Yeah.
Like this is 100% your choice. Why don't you just leave and leave us to our own devices? And it's like, well, you'll hurt the earth. It's like, well, you're the one who made us.
Yeah. Yeah. And also you are the CEO of one of the most powerful companies in the world. So like, the idea that she's innocent and separate from the behavior of the world that she is critiquing and judging is absurd, because she's put herself in one of the most powerful positions in that world. Like that matters, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, freaking Starfleet would be absurd, would be horrified and pissed off at them. They're breaking the prime directive here, right?
Yeah.
They are not just silently observing and critiquing from a distance. They are actively making key choices in the whole thing.
It's a very funny idea to me that like Starfleet has not only interfered in a society, but has repeatedly screwed it up and is then going to blame the society for it. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It was kind of a fun reveal that she's the Empress, though. I like that.
Yeah. It was a great reveal. Also, like, I don't know, like we've been talking a lot about the overall theming and stuff, and that's all great. This also is a very funny movie, and it's a very entertaining movie. Like, I did like the part where he's electrocuting her.
Yeah.
And the amperage goes up so high, or the voltage, sorry, is so high that he's like, oh my God, I didn't realize you were Andromedan royalty.
Uh-huh.
Which I don't even know where that came. Again, is he just like right by luck?
Yeah. I exactly. There's part of me where, as much as I enjoy it in just like a pure spectacle and entertainment sense, the ending of the movie, I think it would have been a better movie in certain ways if it was just a drama about, or even a dark comedy.
Yeah.
But just like a slightly more straightforward movie about a delusional conspiracy theorist who has captured a woman who is also not a great person, and the psychological game of cat and mouse of her trying to escape from this. And like many of the same beats could be identical, but it would just be a bit cleaner, and more straightforward.
It would, but like that ending is so Yorgos.
Yeah.
That like I you're right. Like there was a part of me that came into this conversation expecting to be like, I really like this movie, but I didn't like the reveal at the end that she is actually an alien, because I feel like it damages the themes. And I think we've come around in the course of this conversation on saying, no, it doesn't damage the themes. It actually reinforces it. But it still took you and I sitting down for 45 minutes and having a conversation to get to that point, which isn't necessarily a bad thing on its own. But I wonder, like, could some of this is some of this lost in the theater of it all?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the simple fact that you and I have been talking about the themes and the ending and the meaning of that for 45 minutes, instead of talking about like the meat of the movie, which is this back and forth, this electric dynamic between these characters and the acting.
Oh, and God, these guys, they're just so good. They're so good.
Yeah. Like some of the dialogues they have between them, where the script is really, really fantastic, because every single, scene, every single conversation between the two of them, the viewer, are kind of suspending this superposition of interpretations where you're like, maybe she's saying that because she is a terrified woman who is trying to bullshit her way out of the situation. Maybe she's saying this because she's an alien pretending to be a 45-year-old CEO trying to weasel her way out of the situation. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to figure out which is which, like based on subtle acting cues and word choices. And then you're like, no, Jesse Plemons, don't get sucked into her web. But also, if she is actually an innocent woman that you kidnapped, definitely get sucked into her web and let her go. That to me was the fun, like push and pull of it, is you don't know how to feel, and so you're being torn in two directions with every exchange. Yeah.
It's very fun, and it's kind of all on both of these actors. The way Yorgos Lanthimos shoots this movie is like, it's basically all close-ups. We're basically just like in on the face of Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons for the vast majority of the movie. And it's very fortunate these are two very good looking actors who are just very expressive. Like Emma Stone, of course, her eyes, right? So expressive, so much going on there. And Jesse Plemons is like just continuing to become one of my favorite actors. Like he's just so good at what he does. And seeing him in a role like this, I think is like, it's one of those, I can't imagine anyone else doing this like he did it, because yeah, he's a good looking dude. He has this kind of frantic energy to him that makes him inherently likable, but also like with an edge of slight nervousness about him. Like they're both so good. They're both so good.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not like the ending detracts from that.
No.
The only, and this is maybe a milder complaint than it sounded like a second ago. It's just like, because we had to talk about the ending and figure out what the hell the movie was about, that almost distracted us from talking about like, what was your experience of the movie? The experience of the movie is basically, this dramatic back and forth, and that's overshadowed by the ending. I think that's the worst thing I'll say about the ending that I stand by, is that it overshadows the rest of the movie and adds a bit of confusion that, like you said, ultimately you can kind of unwind it. Mm-hmm. But part of you feels like, well, now I'm just thinking about the ending. It reminds me of when everybody walked out of Inception, and all they can talk about is the last 10 seconds of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like that. Nobody's saying, I'm not saying Inception's a bad movie. I'm saying that when you make that kind of a choice with the way you end your movie, there's a risk that that's just the only thing people remember.
No, that's
and
true.
That's kind of a shame.
Yeah, I think that's true. It is a shame, and it's one of the reasons why I'm actually I was surprised that this got nominated, but I'm very glad of it, because not only did you and I get to have this conversation, which we might not have had otherwise, but I think more people are going to be checking out this movie, and maybe I don't know, maybe being an Academy nominated film like makes people think about you more than they would normally.
Yeah, and
they get to the good, the fantastic parts about this movie, which. Definitely like one of my favorites of the year for sure. I was very pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie.
I think I agree with that. So far, this is probably in my top. I'm not going to rank it right now, but yeah, it's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree with you about what you said about Yorgos Lanthimos, though, is that we've never done a deconstructing Lanthimos series. And he seems like the perfect director that would be absolutely ripe for that. But I don't know if I could psychologically take doing nothing but watching Yorgos Lanthimos films for 10 weeks. I think I would go a little crazy, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't seen The Killing of a Sacred Deer, because it seemed like everything that was upsetting about The Lobster, except more so. I don't know if I'm right about this, but that's just like the tone of it as conveyed by the trailer. I was like, well, no, I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood for that.
I bet if you can believe it, The Killing of the Sacred Deer does not have good things to say about people and their reaction to situations.
Shocking.
It does have one of the most disturbing and disgusting scenes in which a person eats spaghetti I've ever seen in my entire life. And then in this movie, when he serves spaghetti to everyone, I was like, damn it, Yorgos, not more spaghetti. Don't do this to me.
I mean, I shouldn't. I feel like I have typecast him unfairly, because this movie is more fun with a tinge of dark humor, and the one from last year,
Poor Things.
Poor Things was not really like a dark slog by any means. It was fun. We really enjoyed. I distinctly remember we had a fun time talking about it. It's weird in a compelling way.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something you might not know. Did you know that there was another Yorgos Lanthimos film between Poor Things and Bugonia that stars Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons?
No.
Yeah, there's a movie called Kinds of Kindness. I've never seen it.
Interesting.
I'm very curious to see it. Maybe we'll watch it and do an episode on it eventually.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
He's really, really churning them out, man.
Yeah, that's amazing. How many movies has he done? I don't even.
That's a good
know.
question.
That's okay.
So obviously we have Dogtooth, Lobster, Killing of the Sacred Deer, The Favorite, Poor Things, Kinds of Kindness, and Bugonia. So I guess my very quick mental addition says 7.
Okay, something like that. Yeah.
But he might have done movies before Dogtooth. That's like the one that I feel like people noticed him.
Mm-hmm. I do love his storytelling mind. I love his absurdity. As maybe I sound like I've said critical things of The Lobster. It's quite the opposite. I love The Lobster. I love the weird concept of we're going to turn you into an animal, whatever that means. If you don't find a person to marry, it's like, what? But like it's dream logic, right? And then it's like the whole, and it works so well. It's great. I love that movie so much. It's just hard to watch because there's so many incredibly painful things that happen to the character.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. The first time I saw The Lobster, I didn't like it. And I think I was just reacting to the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
And not the quality of a movie it was, because it I mean, these movies are very hard to watch, and they hit you where you live, and they're not movies that are like, it's so funny because he kind of threads this needle where these movies are kind of very kooky and funny and weird, but then they like sneak up on you.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, why am I really sad? I just laughed a bunch. Why am I sad?
Yeah. 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 You're right. There's definitely disturbing stuff that happens in this movie that, when he's like electrocuting her, it's upsetting.
Oh yeah.
When he like leans down with the wire cutters, here's a little funny thing about me. I yelled, nope, 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 nope. And I started running up the stairs so that I could be away from the television.
You could just pause it,
No, I don't want, I wanted to pass so that I don't have to see, because I thought he was going to cut her toes off is why.
Oh.
But he didn't.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I can't believe they actually communicate via their hair.
That's just perfect. All of his extremely delusional sounding beliefs about them were completely true.
Yes.
We have to rub antihistamine all over her skin.
Well, is that one? We never actually got confirmation that one was true.
It probably was.
It does serve to do this really interesting thing with her, which again, Emma Stone, very, very attractive woman. She's in this scene where she's completely bald. She's got cream all over her face to make her like very, very pale looking. And I was like, man, she does kind of look like an alien.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Emma Stone getting bald for movies is a fun thing that she does.
That when they shaved her head, that was them shaving Emma Stone's head.
I thought so.
Yeah. She was very nervous about it. She almost freaked out and said she wasn't going to do it, but she did it.
Did she shave her head in Poor Things? I thought she was bald. So. I guess I don't know, huh?
She has hair in Poor Things.
You're right. I don't know why I had that image in my head.
I love that she's basically she's like one of the biggest movie stars now, right? Like she's just like constantly in awards contention, making awesome choices.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she's kind of hitched herself to Yorgos Lanthimos and they're just really good friends now too. And it's just like, I love the way you see the world. I love the way you make movies, and I will be in any movie you want me to be in is basically what she said. And it's really cool to see because I enjoy her a lot. And I look forward to see what she keeps doing because it's just so fun.
I agree 100%. Yep. She's great.
Did you ever see The Curse? You probably didn't.
No, too cringe.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you would not have made it through that, but man, that's another one of those things where like she's this big movie star and it's like, yeah, I'm just going to be in this weird Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie cringe comedy. for one season on Showtime. Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the silver linings to movies not making any money anymore is really talented actors are like, well, since I'm not going to make any money anyway, I might as well be in this thing that I want to be in.
And she's such a piece of shit in it too. Like, my God, she's terrible. Like to be a movie star willing to do this and then also willing to just play just a terrible piece of shit character.
That's great.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say about Bugonia?
Nope.
That's 5, Matt. We've done 5 of the 10. Got 5 to go.
Halfway through.
Yeah. Next week, we're going to be talking about F1, Apple's big gamble on theatrical releases that paid off, both monetarily and now is nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil this one for you, Matt. I have seen it. That's all I'm going to say.
I will say, just to register my, I don't know, anticipation is like, really? There, I'll just leave it there.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll answer that question next week.
All right.
Doof.
Before we go, there's a new show on HBO that we wanted to talk about, and that show has some poop and a really big dick.
And does that narrow it down?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no.
Oh.
We're talking about the newest Game of Thrones spinoff, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I don't know if you know. So obviously, you know that this is based off a series of novellas that George R. R. Martin wrote. I think there are 3, although in that recent interview, he said there's like 7 more in his head, which, sure, George. But
there's at least 2 more that he's talked about in detail. I know a lot about the Night of the Seven Kingdoms stuff, by the way. Just
that's fun. I've never read them. I don't know why. I loved A Song of Ice and Fire and then have never read a single thing outside of those main books for some reason, which is silly. But this show, so basically they went to George and were like, hey man, are there any shows that we can do that don't cost $20 million an episode? Because House of the Dragon is like one of the most expensive television shows ever. So is there something like smaller and more contained that we could do for a lot less money? And George was like, yeah, I got these Dunk and Egg novellas. And so here we are, season 1. George R. R. Martin was pretty heavily involved in the creation of this show, which is the way he likes it. Did you read was in the Hollywood Reporter? I don't remember. Did you read that piece on George?
Maybe.
Came out a couple weeks ago, like in preparation for the release of the show. But he's a man who likes to have creative control. Mm-hmm. And when he doesn't get that, he lets everyone know about it.
Yeah. And yet they keep doing shows with him. So I guess they're making a lot of money.
Money. Yeah. All right. So that is kind of the setup for the show. So season 1, it's 6 episodes, Matt. They're like all 30 minutes each. And what do you think so far?
I'm really having a good time with this. So just a little bit of context. I think I've read all the Hedge Knight stories, the Tales of Dunk and Egg. And they're classic George R. R. Martin. But the cool thing about them, which I think is also true of this show, is that they feel different from Game of Thrones, right? And the main reason is that your character is Dunk. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you can already tell Dunk, he's not Eddard Stark. He's not Tyrion Lannister. He's a different sort of dude.
Yeah.
And you can tell this is going to be a different sort of story. I don't like. It is still the Game of Thrones world. It is still the sensibility of like, there's a lot of shit and dicks and just like kind of awfulness and the Targaryen. Like you've already kind of seen like, oh, there's Targaryens in this one, and Targaryens are kind of bad, but also maybe not all of them. And so.
Yeah, that one guy seemed pretty good. I forget which one he was, but
Baelor.
Sure. Yeah. He was nice.
Yeah, exactly. So like, anyway, I'll stop there and just say, like, I feel like it's a pretty good, it's a pretty straightforward adaptation, but also it's doing what a good adaptation does, where it fleshes it out and it takes advantage of what the visual medium can do. And I really like the actor that's playing Dunk. I mean, it's not necessarily exactly how I like. I think he's a notch dumber than Dunk in the book, but I think that's actually fine for the way they're doing the show. So yeah. Anyway, what did you think?
I'm really, really enjoying this. Like I said, I have not read the novella, so I have no idea where this is going. I think the show is setting up Egg being someone important, but I have no idea. And I believe I do know. Is it a spoiler that Dunk is like the ancestor of Brienne? Is that a spoiler?
I'm not even
I knew
sure.
that somehow.
I'm not even 100% sure if that's true or not, but
okay.
It may be. I don't remember.
I don't know. He's tall. She was tall. I just connected some dots.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really enjoying the show. I do watch House of the Dragon. I've watched both the seasons, and I feel very, very mixed on that show. That's kind of why I've told you, hey, just don't watch that one.
Yeah.
It is more in line with the ending seasons of Game of Thrones than it is the beginning seasons of Game of Thrones. And there are moments in this show that remind me of that first season of Game of Thrones. I don't know if it's been a while since you've watched it probably, but like when Game of Thrones first started, they didn't have a lot of money. And so it was kind of a very small, contained show at first. And it was just really focusing on the characters and the character work, and the spectacle of it all really didn't pick up until later in the show. And that's some of what I feel when watching this thing. I think one of the best creative choices they did is in that first episode, just as the Game of Thrones theme is starting to pick up, they cut to the Dunk shitting next to the tree moment.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just like, it's a very funny moment. It's a great cut, but it's also just a great way. And they know this, that's why they did it, of making a statement on what this thing is and what it is not. And I loved that. And I was kind of on board from that moment on.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're having fun here. We're not standing on ceremony, and we're not doing the epic bombastic brass and strings. It's just this guy, he's a loser. he
has no hope whatsoever.
No prospects. He's got a good heart. He's starting from the very bottom. I mean, this is in the show. I just love this detail. This is such a George R. R. Martin detail that like he never was made a knight.
Yeah.
He's
lying.
His sir did not make him a knight, and so he's not even a knight. Like he doesn't even have the thing that he's using. I called him dumb a second ago. That's what's kind of a fun thing about the story, is that he's resourceful and actually not dumb, but he's like socially dumb.
Sure.
So that's just a fun type of character, I think.
Yeah. He's like lived a very specific kind of life, just following around his knight the whole time. And so he's learned everything from him. So if it hasn't been taught from him, he doesn't know it. And we see that. And I think you're right. I think that's great. I loved in the first episode, the whole thing with Lionel, I think his name is, the Baratheon that he gets drunk with. Like that whole thing was like, I was like, oh my God, I'm loving this. I'm loving being in this world and seeing this goofy ass character talking to him, and kind of this mesh of the Highborn with Dunk and how they play off each other. And I really love that moment of like, what chance do I have? Oh, you have no chance. You have no chance at all.
Yeah.
But isn't it so fun to test yourself against it? And then Dunk's response is like, that's easy for you to say. You risk nothing.
Yeah.
I risk everything. And I'm going to make the assumption, this is not a spoiler again, I don't know. I'm going to make the assumption that he's going to like win the tournament, because I don't know what else, but like I'm right now, like how the fuck is that going to happen? Because he seems so like out of his league with all this stuff. And I'm so hooked. I'm so on board with the central conceit of like, how is he going to manage to pull this shit off?
Yeah. I'll refrain from commenting on that. I did just want to say, like, I love the moment that they end the second episode with. I guess this is a spoiler because it's specific detail, but
yeah, that's fine.
I just love how, like, we see him watching the jousting. First, parenthetically, I love that the jousting is simultaneously like dirty and gritty and kind of like this could be happening at a Ren fair.
Mm-hmm.
But also like they're wearing like the classic Westeros like armor that's all colorful and everything, and I love like the guy falls off his horse and then like pulls himself back on, and it's like so it's like this mix of like you said, low level and kind of like scrappy, but also like, yeah, that's Westeros. This is probably what George R. R. Martin had in his mind. Anyway, to get back to my point, like Dunk is watching all of this, and you see on his face this like somberness take hold, and you're kind of, at least for my part, I was like projecting like, oh, he's getting intimidated. He's starting to realize he doesn't have a chance, and he's getting in his head about it. And then he's like lying there next to the fire later in the evening, and an Egg is playing, which by the way, I love the Egg actor. I love how he plays like an actual kid.
Yeah.
And Egg is like, are you all right, sir? And then you realize that Dunk is like, he's not intimidated. He's like pissed.
Yeah.
It's like, all these lords forgot about my sir, and I am going to show them what a mistake they've made. And you're like, oh yeah, what a great episode.
He realizes he's his legacy, right? That's what he says, that like no one remembers this guy. No one thinks he's a great man. No one thinks he's a great knight, but I can be his legacy.
Yeah.
And I think tomorrow all will see and judge what Sir Arlen's hand has wrought, I think is what he says.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
That's so awesome.
It's so badass coming from this guy who,
yeah.
you know, he's been kind of, that's the thing. It's not, I said he was dumb. It's more, he's just like really socially inexperienced and sort of like nervous.
Yeah.
But you can see, you know, the makings. There are 3 novellas about a character called, you know, Sir Duncan the Tall. So the idea that he grows into himself, I think, is kind of obvious, but it's like I love that we start small with it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I really, I really like that this is Game of Thrones, right? So it does carry the Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire thing. And this idea that these like noble, chivalrous, kind, well-meaning people don't do well in this world, right? That was one of the central messages of the Song of Ice and Fire. That's Eddard Stark, right? Although I think Dunk is a different class than Eddard Stark, but like it's going to be really interesting to see if he is successful, how that happens in a world that seems like poised against people like Dunk. But then again, like in the last 2 episodes, he has befriended and had lengthy conversations with people of noble birth that recognize the central like goodness and knight, for lack of a better word, knight worthiness in Dunk, right? Like that's what happens with the Baratheon and then Targaryen, whose name I'm once again forgetting. Balon, did you say?
I thought it was Baelor, but it might be Balon.
No, you're right. It's Baelor. Baelor Breakspear. What a cool name.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that performance. I gotta say, I haven't read that book in maybe literally like 15 years or more, but I remember that character, and I immediately like love this portrayal of that character, of just like this quiet dignity and, you know, calm power and self-assuredness. For such a minor character in a story you read that long ago, it really made an impression on me. But yeah, it's a good story. I mean, the Dunk and Egg stories I really recommend, because George R. R. Martin, you know, the reason why these books are taking him so long is because he's a perfectionist and he's really, really good at writing. And that really comes across in the novellas because they're shorter, so they can be sort of more like narratively concise, but then like kind of perfect on the prose level. I mean, I think all of his books are kind of perfect on the prose level. He's astonishingly good at prose and like dialing in the prose for exactly the thing that he's going for. But the novellas are almost a notch higher than that because of how condensed they are. And they're also like, again, they're short stories. They have a beginning, middle, and end, and you can read. I think you can read them in any order, honestly, because they're just, this is a vignette in this character's life, basically. So that makes them different from the Song of Ice and Fire novels, which are sprawling, and you rarely get a sense of closure on anything because it just kind of rolls into the next thing unless the character dies or whatever. So anyway, I know I'm not, don't run out and read it. In fact, probably would be more fun if you would. If you just watch the show and then you can read it afterward, but I think you would enjoy reading it.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to do that. Again, I don't know. I never like consciously made the decision not to read it. Like I've heard about them, and I just like didn't ever do it. I don't know why.
Well,
yeah.
One possibility just is where would you find them? Like they actually maybe they have them bound on their own now. But when I was, again, 15 years ago or whatever, the reason I read them is that I just like happened to have like one of those, best sci-fi or fantasy of the blankety blank year anthologies, and it was in there. And then maybe I picked another one up in a different anthology. But, it was much harder to find these things in the past. So when you were really into Game of Thrones, it probably wasn't easy for you to actually get your hands on it. That's probably why you didn't read it, honestly.
That's fair. They have, of course, packaged all three of them together and are selling them right now.
Right. I'm sure.
That's what they do. But yeah, no, I think you're right. At the time, it was probably a bigger lift for me. If I had like gone to a bookstore and seen it next to the 4 Song of Ice and Fire books that were out at the time, I might have grabbed it.
Right.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will continue to follow along with the show. I don't know if this is going to be like a every week check-in thing. It depends on if we feel like we have enough to say about it. But I'm really, really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too.
And man, Sir Arlen, it's the biggest dick I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's great. I don't remember that being in the story, but
it's just they have to do their Game of Thronesy stuff, and that includes him walking out of a tent, throwing around his 12-inch flaccid penis,
third leg. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, that is all we had for you guys this week. If you have any opinions on Bugonia, on Yorgos Lanthimos, or on A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, you can always reach out to us via email at doofmedia@gmail.com, over on X at doofmedia, on Instagram at doofmedia, or on our subreddit, that is reddit.com/r/doofmedia.
That's right. And if you're not already subscribed to the Doofcast, we encourage you to subscribe and ensure you never miss an episode. You can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, and pretty much anywhere else podcasts can be found.
And you know what else you should subscribe to, Matt?
What?
Flanagan's Wake, our podcast covering the films and movies and television shows of Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
And that is because within a week from now, we are going to be releasing a bonus episode of that podcast, in which Matt and I got to sit down with Mr. Mike Flanagan himself. And we talked to him for an hour and a half about a whole bunch of stuff. If you like any of Mike Flanagan's work, I think you're going to really enjoy that conversation. He was awesome. It was great. It's like the coolest thing that's ever happened to us. And if you're not subscribed to that podcast, do it so you don't miss it when that episode comes out.
Yes, that's a good point. Go subscribe now, and then you'll see it.
It'll be out really soon. Really, really soon.
Yep.
And if you want to support us and help us meet and talk to more incredibly famous, successful directors, you can become a patron at patreon.com/doofmedia. We are asking people to go there and subscribe, even if it's only at the free tier. Matt, our numbers are getting up there. We're almost at 900 now. So we're getting near that 1,000 mark that we've set a goal for. So if you haven't yet, please go to patreon.com/doofmedia and join at one of the monetary levels if you can afford it, but if not, at any of those free levels.
Yeah.
There's only one free level, at the free level.
Yes, thank you. We would appreciate that. Yeah. Also, please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Each review helps us to get more exposure and introduces new people to the content that we make here.
All right, folks, that's it for us this week. Next week, we're going to answer Matt's question about F1. And that question again was what, Matt?
Really?
My name is Doof, and you'll do what I say. My name is Doof, and you'll do what I say.